Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Jason, still here in California, still working out of a room in my in-laws' house, and I have something I need to show you. Oh, this guitar isn't mine, it's on loan. So if you're hip to guitar stuff, especially really nice boutique guitars, you've probably seen something like this played on stage by the likes of Mike Campbell of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Glenn Frey of the Eagles, John Mayer, Chris Cornell, Robbie McIntosh, just to name a few. And it's built by a company called Duesenberg. Duesenberg is a company based in Germany. They've been making guitars for over 40 years, and one of the things that makes their instruments so special is, unlike a lot of guitar builders, everything is done in-house. Not a single part of this guitar is outsourced. And what you get with a Duesenberg is a really high-quality, handcrafted instrument with all the beauty of German engineering put into it. But that quality comes with a price. The cheapest Duesenberg you'll find on the internet retails somewhere around $2,500. Oh, and that's before shipping. And if you ever shipped a guitar, you know it's a kind of a nightmare. So I'm borrowing this guitar from a friend in San Francisco. He very graciously loaned it to me because I needed an electric for a gig I have coming up. And I've been playing it nonstop ever since. So this guitar has several really cool features going for it. It looks like a solid body, but it's chambered, which gives it extra resonance and sustain. This is hands down the smoothest and most stable tremolo arm I've ever played on a guitar. And the pickups, which are made in-house, are just perfect. It's a P90 in the neck and a humbucker in the bridge, and they just sing. So when you play a guitar like this, it becomes really obvious why it's so expensive. It's just an incredibly well-designed and well-built instrument. But if you're an everyday working guitar player making a blue-collar living on music, it begs the question, why do you need to own a guitar that costs over $2.5 grand? And with guitar production as streamlined and refined as it is today, why do you even need to own a guitar that's priced over 3 figures? All right, y'all, back home in North Carolina. Got a new camera, by the way. You might notice a little difference in picture quality. I had a lot of fun in California visiting old family and friends, making some music, and borrowing a really nice guitar. And when I got home, I realized I actually have footage of me with another Duesenberg. It was last summer in Charlotte with my guy Wyatt. We were playing the camp gig with Seth Condry. Link to the video about that whole experience in the top right corner. We stopped in at Midwood Guitar Studio, maybe the best place in North Carolina to shop for really nice guitars. I mean, we have a bunch of really great guitar shops here, but Midwood has just amazing stuff in stock like all the time. And we tried out a bunch of really great guitars while we were there, but we played this Duesenberg and were absolutely floored by it. I mean, we didn't want to leave, but Wyatt had a flight to catch. And since we're having this conversation about expensive guitars, for today's video, I have every guitar I own on the couch behind me, and I thought it'd be fun to go through my whole collection, talk about each guitar, what it cost, and why I own each of them. And to start off, I should offer this disclaimer. I'm the kind of guy that's not super motivated to invest in a really expensive instrument, because when you're at my financial level as a blue-collar musician, you kind of have two options. You can own 1 or 2 really expensive guitars or several mid-priced guitars, and I like having a diverse collection of instruments. So as opposed to having one guitar that sounds perfect, I like having multiple guitars that all have distinct voices, because before I'm a guitar player, I'm a producer, so I'm thinking about all the different sounds that I want to be able to achieve. So let's take a look at what we have on the couch. All right, first up, this is my Stratocaster. This is the guitar I've owned the longest. I bought this thing in 2010. It's a 90s reproduction of a 70s Strat. You'll notice the headstock is a little wider than your average Stratocaster. That's a 70s thing. And this comes equipped with Texas Special single coils. Those are the Stevie Ray Vaughan signature pickups, and they're just a little bit louder and have a little more mid-range than your average Stratocaster pickup. And when I was younger and didn't quite understand Strats, that was perfect for me because those are the things I hated about Strats. And then a couple of years ago, I decided I wanted to switch out the bridge single coil with a humbucker just to give the guitar a little more range. I put in the Suhr Thornbucker, a Pete Thorn signature humbucker. It's designed specifically to balance really well with single coils. I also put in new wiring from 920D Custom, their kit that they make for SSH guitars. It wires it so that the single coils and the humbucker react the same way to the volume knob, and when you're in second position, the humbucker splits into a single coil so you get a more true split sound. Next up is my Jazzmaster. This is a Squier J Mascis signature Jazzmaster. I had actually never heard of J Mascis or his band Dinosaur Jr. when I bought the guitar. I just really liked the guitar, but now I'm definitely a fan. Interestingly, these pickups aren't true Jazzmaster pickups. If you open them up and look at them, they're essentially just P90s, and I love P90s. They're kind of the default guitar tone in my head. It was about a year ago I upgraded the wiring in this guitar with another kit from 920D Custom and also gave it a brand new pickguard. And really, I have to say this is probably my number one go-to guitar. It's the one I reach for in most situations. Next up, Les Paul. I bought this guy in 2014. It's a Gibson 60s Tribute, gold top, P90 pickups, and the absolute lightest Les Paul I've ever held in my life. So this guy has a little bit narrower lane of application than my other guitars. Obviously, rock stuff sounds really good on it. I love playing slide on this guitar, but between the two P90 pickups and something about the wood, this thing, in my opinion, has a shocking amount of tonal range for a Les Paul. And my Gretsch. I got this guitar in 2019. It's my most recent guitar purchase. It's a Gretsch Streamliner, 3 Broadtron pickups. The Broadtrons are sort of halfway between a Filtertron and a humbucker. Got these cool cat eye style F-holes on them. And I figured out a hack from the internet that if you take out half of the magnetic poles on the Broadtron, it gets a lot closer to that classic Filtertron sound. So I did that to the neck and the bridge and left the middle pickup as it is. I use this guitar a lot on Sundays because it does that classic worship tone really, really well. And between the 3 pickups, it's got a lot of tonal options. And now getting into more niche territory, here's a baritone guitar. I got this in 2017. I actually used to own a Danelectro guitar just like this one, designated the U2 model, not after the band. It was the same guitar, just regular scale length, but I was really intrigued by baritone guitars and wanted to have one to experiment with, so I went to Guitar Center and made the trade and got this guy. This is my bass. It is a Squier Standard Series P bass. Funnily enough, I don't even remember when or where I got this bass. I'm pretty sure I didn't even pay for it. I just kind of inherited it. Somebody left it with me at some point and never claimed it, and I tried for a while to track down whose it was, to no success, so I just kind of got this bass. I recently had to deal with some bad electronics in the bass, so I got a whole new wiring kit from 920D Custom, and I also upgraded the pickups. I got the Golden Age Precision pickups from StewMac, and it's just a rock solid bass. This is my wife's bass guitar she occasionally lets me borrow. I got this for her birthday in 2016. Hofner short scale, has flat wound strings, which I think should be required by law for a Hofner, and this thing just has a crap ton of vibe in it. My acoustic guitar. Guild Troubadour parlor style guitar. I like the smaller body both for comfort and for the tone it produces, and I like that it's a satin finish instead of a lacquer finish. I don't like acoustic guitars to sound too bright. I think an acoustic should just sound like a piece of wood. The stock pickup that came on this guitar was okay. It wasn't great. I upgraded to the LR Baggs M80. I really prefer these sound hole bar pickups over piezo pickups or microphone systems because they're the most feedback resistant, and they really really accurately capture the sound of the strings on the guitar, which is what I'm looking for in my live acoustic tone. And finally, my banjo. It was several years ago, maybe 2008, I had a gig subbing in with a local bluegrass band, and I needed a banjo for the gig. I found this at some local shop. It's Epiphone, it was cheap, but it's been rock solid ever since. No frills, nothing fancy, just a solid banjo. So if you've been keeping track, the most expensive guitar I own, I could probably get about $900 for it maybe, but I don't plan on selling any of these guitars ever. Well, maybe the bass, or maybe not. But I've owned other guitars. In my lifetime, I've probably total owned twice as many guitars as I currently have. And the guitars I've sold, it wasn't because they didn't sound good or because they weren't quality instruments. It was because they didn't feel right. And that's the point I want to make in this video. I don't really care how much a guitar costs, how nice it is, or even how cool it is, even though, let's be honest, coolness is a little bit of a factor with guitars. What matters most about an instrument is the way that it makes me feel when I'm playing it. Because the truth is, I've played some crazy expensive guitars in my lifetime that I hated because I didn't feel comfortable on them. There wasn't necessarily anything wrong with the guitar, they just didn't feel right in my hands. And conversely, I've played on some really cheap guitars that I sounded really good on because I was comfortable and I was inspired. And when I feel good, I'm going to play well. That's just basic psychology. Now, obviously, I want an instrument that's of a high enough quality that I'm confident that it's not going to fall apart on me. You shouldn't own any gear that is a liability. But there's definitely truth to the idea that the higher you go in price, the law of diminishing returns starts to factor in. After a while, you're not really paying for anything that contributes to the quality of the instrument, just the value of the instrument. Past a certain price point, just about any guitar you buy isn't going to be a bad guitar, just inappropriate for how you play and the sound you're trying to get out of it. Hence, a bad, expensive guitar. Really, the difference between an $800 guitar and a $3,000 guitar is craftsmanship. A lot of little features and attention to detail that will cumulatively add up to a better sound and feel on the instrument. And that is definitely worth investing in if you're capable. So if you're watching this thinking Jason just doesn't like expensive guitars, false. Quite the opposite, actually. I've said many times that I plan on buying one really expensive guitar in my lifetime, and it won't be a trophy guitar. I never have and never will own trophy gear because instruments were meant to be played. So I'm not saying don't buy expensive instruments. I'm saying don't buy hype. If you can afford it, you should buy an expensive guitar, but make sure that it's the right expensive guitar. Make sure it's an instrument that inspires you to make music. Otherwise, what's the point? Looking cool? So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.